In the heart of the Qur'an lies a chapter that's both celebrated and debated, a chapter that reshaped law, ethics, and the role of women over 1,400 years ago. This is Surah An-Nisa, the women. And today, we're diving into its bold reforms, timeless lessons, and the big questions it still raises. 1. Historical and social context. Picture Medina. The Prophet Muhammad has just migrated. A new society is forming, one based not just on survival, but on justice, law, and shared responsibility. That's where Surah An-Nisa steps in. In pre-Islamic Arabia, women, orphans, and the vulnerable had little protection. Power ruled. Lineage mattered more than justice. But Surah An-Nisa challenged that. Its verses responded to real social issues. Widowhood after battle, exploitation of orphans, inheritance disputes, marital conflict, and rising political hypocrisy. While these reforms were revolutionary in 7th century Arabia, we have to ask, how do they translate today in societies that are completely different? 2. Women's rights, progress or partial reform. In a world where women could be inherited like property, Surah An-Nisa gave them legal identity. Women and children were granted defined shares of inheritance. And a wife's mahr, her dower, became her personal right. Polygyny was limited to 4 wives, but only if justice could be upheld between them. And that's where debate begins. Can fairness really exist in polygamy? Even classical scholars wrestled with this. Then there's verse 434, where men are called qawwamun, maintainers or protectors. Some interpret this as supporting male authority, even discipline. Others see it as a mandate for care, not control. Modern scholars often emphasize the Quran's broader call to mutual respect and compassion. So, is this a verse of compassion or control? 3. Inheritance and orphan protection. One of Surah An-Nisa's most radical contributions? It made orphan protection a legal priority. No more seizing their wealth. No more ignoring their rights. Fixed inheritance shares were groundbreaking for the time. But here's the challenge. Daughters received half of what sons did. In the 7th century, this was progressive. But today, with many women as primary earners, some argue this needs rethinking. Modern voices ask, do half shares still serve justice today? Others say the original system was built on reciprocal responsibilities. Men provided, women managed the home. Still, orphan mistreatment continued for centuries. The gap between text and practice is an ethical problem we can't ignore. 4. Justice, governance, and social ethics. One of the surah's most powerful moments comes in verse 435. Stand firm for justice, even if it's against yourselves. The message? No one is above the law. Not leaders, not judges, not even you. But saying that is one thing. Living it is another. Institutions often serve power, not truth. Surah An-Nisa sets the bar high. Do we live up to it? It demands fairness, transparency, and rule of law, ideals that align closely with modern ideas of governance, even as they require thoughtful adaptation in today's pluralistic societies. 5. Rules of warfare and hypocrisy. During times of war and betrayal, Surah An-Nisa draws a moral line. Fight only to protect the oppressed. Honor your promises. And beware the hypocrites, those who say one thing but do another. But here's the dilemma. Who defines hypocrisy? And who decides when war is truly justified? These verses aim to protect the moral fabric of a community. Yet, throughout history, they've also been used to silence dissent or justify conflict. Debate continues over the scope of jihad. While many classical scholars limited it to defensive war, others have interpreted it more broadly, sometimes problematically. 6. Spiritual and moral dimensions. But Surah An-Nisa isn't just about rules and regulations. It's about spirit. Obedience is tied to consultation. Law is balanced by forgiveness. It doesn't just command, it guides. Still, the emphasis on obedience can feel hierarchical. The invitation to shura, consultation, suggests a more participatory approach. This tension continues to shape conversations about leadership and authority in Muslim communities today. 7. Modern reflections and debates. Today, many scholars highlight the surah's egalitarian themes. They call for fresh interpretations that center justice and spiritual equality. In multicultural and secular societies, applying Qur'anic laws isn't always straightforward. That's where ijtihad, contextual reasoning, comes in, seeking hybrid models that honor both faith and modern law. And at the core of it all are universal values: justice, care for the vulnerable, truthfulness. These transcend culture and time, making Surah An-Nisa deeply relevant, even as specific rulings call for re-examination. 8. Final thoughts. A chapter of tension and beauty. Surah An-Nisa was revolutionary in its time. It protected the voiceless. It limited power. It paired law with compassion. But it also reflected a specific world, a tribal, patriarchal society. Some verses, like unequal inheritance or male marital authority, mirror the norms of that era. They deserve careful, critical reading today. Ultimately, the surah invites us to think deeper, to ask, what is timeless? What is time-bound? How do we honor both the letter and the spirit of its message? Surah An-Nisa is a milestone in prophetic legislation, radical for its era, and still provocative today. A thoughtful reading appreciates its bold aims, while asking how we carry its core values, justice, mercy, and human dignity, into the modern world. Thank you for spending time with us. If this video inspired reflection, we invite you to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. In our next video, we'll explore Surah An-Nisa, continuing our journey of reasoned exploration through the Qur'an.